Hi, my name is Faith Nouri. I'm an attorney. I practice family law and immigration in Huntington Beach in Orange County, California. Today, I would like to speak about how we could communicate better when we have a dispute with a party. That person could be anyone. It could be your spouse, your child, your parent, your siblings, your coworker, your employer. Just take a pick. So, sometimes we are not aware that our personal upbringing, our belief system, the way we are raised through our custom, through our backgrounds, the schooling, religion, or the family style or dynamics that we are raised has a lot to do with the way we think and the way we talk and the way we interact with one another. So, it is sometimes hard to see that the way we approach another person has a lot to do with all of these elements that I mentioned, which is our upbringing. And upbringing can be through the schooling, again, religion, culture, family, and the locality of the location that you are. So basically, we have our own kind of a universe. So we have a universe that it's, let's say, it's us, me, you, on your own, which is individual. Then you have another one which is a little bit more is a locality of your universe, which are the people that you interact with and you're with. Then you can look at globally, meaning your global view, which could be your town or your city, and it could expand to your country. So all those are things that we adapt through all these little universes. And then we are interacting with one another based on what we learned. We try to interact based on what we think is right. So you may be feeling comfortable to tell somebody, hey, speaking with someone and they are not agreeing with you, you're trying to explain it, and then just say, hey, you just don't understand what I'm trying to say. And that may be completely okay. It's a sentence you're saying you do not understand. It doesn't appear to be any problem with that sentence. But the other person who's hearing that has, again, his own background, cultural, personal, religious, school operate, background, whatever they have been raised with, and how they have been raised. So they may not see that sentence that I just said, you do not understand, in the same way that you see it. So it could make the person to be defensive because he or she is not seeing that from the same perspective that you're seeing it. So what I'm trying to say here is that we all have our own way of looking and hearing and making a judgment call regarding whatever that we are told or the way we speak. So, in order to be better heard and in order to be able to communicate better, number one, I would suggest to first attempt to use words that doesn't antagonize the other party. It doesn't put a wedge between you and the other party. So to do that, there are many ways you could go and say it. You could say, hey, the way I see it, my perception is that if you do this, it would be that. So, and I don't understand, or I am not agreeing with the way I see it, and this is how I see it. So instead of saying that you are doing this and you are doing that, which is pointing finger at the other person, and you're not going to get a result you would like to receive or get, because you can already antagonize the person, you made the other person defensive because by pointing at them as doing something wrong. And it is in our human nature that we would like not to be wrong, not to be incorrect. So we take the step, instead of trying to listen and perhaps see what the other person is trying to say, and not look at the way it may sound to you, but what the message is behind it. We attempt to, a lot of times, to just look at how it comes to you and how it affects you and how it doesn't come the way you are used to or you would like to hear it. So since we are not all the same individuals and we are not having the same background, so we are not created equal, therefore we got to understand that there are millions and billions of people on this land, and every single one of them has his or her way of communicating the best way they know. So if you wish to communicate with someone, then try to remember that your perspective of how you see things, the way you see things, may not be the same as the next person. I'm sure you have heard of this, or maybe you have not, so I'm going to raise it more in detail than I was going to. When you're sitting in a red light and you see an accident in front of you, if you had that experience, your vision from the way you see it, you could say, oh, I can see that that person passed the red light. And maybe somebody else who's sitting on the other side say, no, the way their perception is that, whoa, this person just passed the green light and hit the person on the green when was passing the green light, which is completely different than what you may have seen. So that happens. That's why when you see in the personal injury cases, the witnesses are not all say the same thing, because their perception of what they saw is not the same. So we all may be watching the same, again, accident, but we are not getting the same data. So that is true with the way we speak. You may speak to a person thinking that you are communicating in the way that you think they're going to understand your meaning, but they may not at all get what you're trying to tell them. That doesn't mean they're stupid. That doesn't mean they're not trying to get it. That doesn't mean they're trying to antagonize you. It just means that the way they understand it is different from the way you understand things. So I hear that a lot when I do mediate, or when I'm in court, or when I'm talking to parties and they're telling me about their issue, like, oh, I went to pick up my child, and the other parent, when I said, where are the kids, he started using profanity, and I said, well, what do you think that caused them? And I'm trying to think that, because don't forget, I'm a human. I'm making similar mistakes as you do, and I'm also seeing the same thing, same patterns with other people. I may have made it in the past. So now I'm learning, and I'm trying to share that with you. So what happens is that if you know this person is going to get antagonized, then maybe the best way to do it, and instead of saying that hey, where are you, or becoming confrontatious, change the tone and say, hey, I've been waiting here for about 15 minutes. I would like, for instance, the kids to be ready. If that doesn't get resolved, then yes, you may have to take other actions in order to make the other person to be more compliant with your request. What I'm getting at, it doesn't serve you or even the other party to get engaged in argument, because you can't say, I was right, you're wrong, I was right, you're wrong. The end result is going to be that you're not going to get anywhere that you think you're going to get, so anywhere close to where you think you're going to get. So the best way is, when you communicate with someone, always try to use how you understand the message they're relaying to you and express that to them. And if you want something from them, try to express it the way you think you want somebody express it to you. And if that makes the other person offended, well, understand people have different background and different belief system, different understanding of the same words that you're saying. So then explain, hey, I didn't mean it that way, what I'm trying to say. And sometimes, yes, I understand it may not work, but then it becomes a learning lesson for the next time when you have a communication, how you can better communicate. So the gist of this is for you to understand, and you see, for you to be able to acknowledge how better you can communicate by being more aware about vocabulary and verbiage you use, and also be vigilant about the reaction of the person you're speaking with. So that requires you to be more in the present moment. You can't just shoot your mouth and saying things, which some people do. It's best to be able to understand and interact with the person you're interacting with, especially if you have a conflict. You want to be vigilant about their body language too, because that tells you a lot. So if you see somebody who is short-tempered and you're communicating with them, and something you said may have already, got them activated, then maybe this is not a good time to discuss about a problem you want to discuss with them, and perhaps you should wait until another time. So I'm not trying to teach you to be a victim. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is to be able to speak in such a way that you actually have the maximum benefit from your communication with the other party. Of course, that empowers you because you become a better communicator, and things about how they feel and how may not feel should not really bother you, because we all are different people, and we behave differently, we think differently, we have different feelings toward different things we see. So it is best to try to be vigilant about your own feeling, your own, and be in tune with yourself, rather than trying to think, how I can please this person, how I can make this person understand, how I can not get him angry. Well, just say, how can I communicate better with this person the way you want to be communicated, and try to use the verbiage that is not going to antagonize the other party. So that said, The purpose of this video was to bring more awareness as to how simple words can create a conflict, and the best way to avoid it is, again, to express your perception of what you see. Hey, the way I see it, or the way I heard you saying that, did I hear you correctly, or did you, the way I'm trying to express the way I think that I'm understanding you, and that is. So start that way. You may say, well, why do I have to go through all that dance? Well, sometimes there are individuals who are not at the same level as you think you are. So it is best to communicate in that sense so they can understand you better and you can understand them better. That's basically what I'm trying to say for this segment. I hope you find this helpful. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.